Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about voice recognition software and in particular the open source technology provided by Google Docs. I think there's a possible usage for this technology within interpreting training, but we'll get to all that. Recently I've noticed that voice recognition software has come on leaps and bounds and it tends to be fairly accurate. The thing that really piqued my attention was watching back my YouTube videos and noticing that YouTube's auto-generated closed caption subtitles of my speeches in English were very reliable, very accurate. They seem to very rarely make any mistakes, it must be said. Naturally there's no punctuation there, but it's quite easy to follow along with the message, read the subtitles as you hear the video itself. So I decided to do a simulation with my working languages, French and Italian, Portuguese that I'm currently trying to add, and English, my mother tongue, to see whether there would be scope to auto-generate a transcript of an interpreting speech. So I went on the Skik speech repository and I loaded up a speech in all four of those languages that I've already listed, and the results were mixed, it must be said. Encouraging in some areas, less so in others. I was probably a little naive in starting with Italian, which probably due to the phonetics of the language meant that the transcript was actually surprisingly reliable. So I started the recording on, or rather I played the video on the speech repository and then clicked record on the voice recognition software, and the transcript came out as a pretty good effort, I have to say. There was just one minor slip or two. Fake news became fake ninja, which was rather amusing. Anyway, let me show you that.
Cari colleghi, io appunto sono italiana e mi piace mangiare bene, non qualsiasi cosa. Purtroppo di recente ho avuto problemi di stomaco e ho dovuto eliminare certi cibi perché non posso mangiare il glutine, non posso mangiare il lattosio. Ed è molto triste per un'italiana che ama la pasta e la pizza. Ieri però ho letto un articolo molto incoraggiante. A quanto pare non devo più rinunciare a nulla. Allora, spesso sui media, sui social media e nel web si hanno queste notizie false che sono fake news, appunto, su tutti i cibi che non bisogna o che bisogna mangiare.
Unfortunately, the results were less good in Portuguese and French, rather disastrous in some cases. And in English, the technology seemed to fail, but that might be down to me. I was using two separate headsets. I had the integrated microphone for my over-ear headphones, and then I was using the in-ear earphone from another headset and just holding it close. So perhaps the actual audio failed from that perspective. So whilst I think this could be useful in terms of generating transcripts, particularly those who are just starting interpreting training as students, I would suggest, often it's great to be able to listen to a speech once, then to listen back to it, especially in consecutive, and go through your notes. If you can have a transcript with you, then that is naturally a help. But clearly, a lot of speeches that we work with don't necessarily have transcripts available, be it on Skik, be it your interpreting trainers. I think the latter often like to give speeches simply from notes because it sounds a bit more natural and slightly more improvised. But it could also be an idea for interpreting trainers, I would suggest, to give their speech and also to run this technology at the same time, and then perhaps tidy up the speech afterwards in terms of the punctuation, the spacing, and perhaps other features as well. Another usage I can see for voice recognition software, and I tried this out with French and Portuguese earlier in particular, is working on your pronunciation. This is simply as a language learner rather than as an interpreter in particular. What I find when I have my conversation classes in my foreign languages, typically I ask my conversation partner to listen to my pronunciation and correct me and help me to improve whilst I read something aloud. So I took my phone, I started this software, and then I tried to read articles from the foreign press in as an authentic an accent as possible to see how well I did. It came out as fairly accurate, I think, and the words that did go awry, I would suggest, are the ones that I need to improve my pronunciation on, because clearly they weren't crystal clear. Anyway, just a few thoughts on voice recognition software, how it can help us in language learning or interpreting training. There's still a long way to go, it seems, but certainly with languages such as Italian, I would wager also Spanish, then it can be a fairly reliable tool and one that can possibly help you along the way. Cheers guys, let me know what you think in the comments section. Subscribe if you haven't done already, notification bell so you're updated every time I post a new video, comment, share, like, all of that please, and I'll be back on the next one. Cheers.